you doing? Welcome back. Welcome back. Listen, if you are watching us for the first time, my name is Michelle Green, and we are Kingdom Builders Business University. And normally we have the KBBU team with us. We have Dr. Tina J. Ramsey. We have Coach Preston Johnson. We have Dr. Mary Hancock. We have Coach Doris Ross. We have Coach Sade Events, and we have Coach Aubrey Wise. And last but not least, we also have Coach Yoshi. That's right. Martina Bryce is in the house. That's right. Those are all of our coaches here at Kingdom Builders Business University, and I am the owner of the company. I come on every single Wednesday, so make sure that you go ahead and hit that subscribe button at every Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. so that you never ever miss another episode of the KBBU behind the scenes. That's right. We are so excited for you to be here with us so that we can share with you the elite entrepreneur. That's right. We call you the elite entrepreneur if you are part of the KBBU family. We call you elite because you are different. You are not like every other entrepreneur that's out there. We know that there is something so unique about you. And that's the reason why we created this KBBU behind the scenes. Now, normally, we would actually be having class on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. to 9 p.m., which will be beginning on next week. But tonight is our final night of being on our break, and we are going to start coming on after our class at 9:30 every week on Wednesdays, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure that your notifications, you have subscribed, make sure your notifications are set. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure that you tell a friend. And if you are an entrepreneur, listen, you are in for a treat because every single week we come on live to talk to you about all of the different tips of entrepreneurship. So tonight we are going to get into we are getting into the sexy style that may be sabotaging your success. That's right, the sexy style. I got a little sexy on tonight. Ooh, looky there, a little sexy for Michelle. So, what is actually too sexy versus what is not too sexy? Okay, we need to talk about this subject matter because when I tell you, there are so many issues around the way that we dress. And could this possibly be sabotaging your success? We want to understand what it is about the way that we dress and what's too much and what's too little. Now, if you know Michelle Green, you know that I have a person, I think I have a pretty decent taste, a style. So when it comes to the things that I wear, the way that I wear my hair, etc., 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 of course, I got my face on and all of that good stuff. Listen, I like to look nice. I like to look like somebody. I like to look like how I feel on the inside. And even if I don't feel like that on the inside, I still like to look good. Okay. And I think that as an entrepreneur, every single person should be having that same kind of mindset because this is your company, right? And even if you are just now starting out in business and you are thinking, like, well, I don't really want to get dressed. I don't really want to, go all out with my attire or with my hair or with my face or whatever the case. What we got to understand is number one, we're business owners. And number two, your first impression to your clientele, to your new staff member, to someone that is considering giving you a supply of services or products that you need for your company, if you are dealing with a grantor or someone that is giving you a loan, a lump sum of money, then listen, it matters how you look. It matters what they are thinking and how you look. Now, normally we don't talk about, like, we don't really push the idea of concerning ourselves so much with what other people think. But this is a subject matter that I think that we really need to dive deep into tonight. So go ahead and share this. Make sure that I see your comments below so that we can have this conversation about the style if it's too sexy or not. It could really be sabotaging your lifestyle in business. So let's change it up a little bit. But let's talk about it. Let's first just talk about it. Like I said, I like to look nice. You may like to look nice. So what is going too far? What is going over and beyond? What is too sexy? Do y'all think this is too sexy? Just a little slit on the arm. Hey, do you think that's too much or do you think that's too little? And I need to show a little bit more. See, this is the point that we really need to dive deep into understanding that as business owners, every part of our life matters. So we don't necessarily get to separate our personal life from our business life. So I would advise that as business owners that we begin to think from the perspective of however I am as a person is how I also need to be in business. And however I am in business is also how I need to be personally. So we don't need to like look at our businesses as separate. How we are in our personal lives and how we are in our business life should match up. So for example, we just had this amazing media and wealth summit on the 11th of October. And at the summit, people were really shocked to see that the same way I look online is the way that I look in person. You know, if I like to look nice online, I don't want to go in person and look like trash. I don't want to, degrade myself or come down to a lower standard just because I'm meeting somebody in person or vice versa. If I am usually looking like an average, ordinary individual, then that should be the way that I present myself when I'm in public. But it still should be, tweaked a little bit just so that you are meeting the standard of how you want to present yourself as a business owner. When we think about being a business owner, it comes with so much weight. It comes with so much that is placed on our shoulders. It comes with so much responsibility. And we really don't sometimes think about how we look as a business owner. So I want to first talk about this whole conversation around the actual sexy style, but even just in general, just a style period. So what is your style as a business owner? What is the way that you want to present yourself as a business owner? When people see you, do you want them to see a plain Jane? Do you want them to see a kind Ken? What do you want them to see? What do you want them to remember about you? Because, see, this is where the rubber meets the road. When it starts out with our companies, no matter how long we've been a business owner, no matter how long we have been, even if we just started our company, we have to understand that what we look like, what we present ourselves to look like, is going to matter. It's going to matter. Okay. So when you step outside of your house, when you step outside of your home and you go out into any marketplace, whether it's the grocery store to get some gas, whether it's to pick up your kid, whether it's wherever you're going, to the salon, to the barber shop, wherever you are going, you need to remember that your style is going to impact your brand. Okay, your brand is your company. Who are you representing? Are you representing who you were in the past? Are you representing a relationship that went bad? Are you representing something that is totally opposite from your business? I want you to really stop and think about it. Because, see, so many times when we step outside of our homes and we are just going throughout our regular personal life, right? We don't really consider that people are always watching. People are always looking at us. They are always, even people around the corner. I got some neighbors that like to, keep their blinds open and see what's going on over here. And that is something that we really need to be conscious of. So don't ever think that as a business owner, if you say that you are opening a company and you have established that company, you're working in that company, you're doing a little bit here and there, or if you're doing a whole lot, it doesn't matter your level of work ethic. What matters is your first impression. So what does your brand say about your look? Does your brand say that you are a sexy hot mama? Does your brand say that, hey, you one of those player dudes? Does your brand say that you are somebody who is, oh my God, they are so gorgeous. They look great. They look good. They look fly. Okay, I'm not going into the songs tonight, but what I am saying is that when we think about what we look like as business owners, you got to really consider, are you doing too much or are you doing too little? Or are you in the right smack dab in the middle? You know, that middle section where you are in the sweet spot. Are you in the sweet spot like this little slit on the side of my arm? But you don't see a slit on this side. So, it's just one arm, but it ain't too much. It ain't too little. So when we come to the table as a business owner, tell me about what you think about how you actually look to people. How do you think that people are perceiving your look? Ladies, are we loading ourselves down with, the long hair and the luxurious look? Or is it a sexy look that is going to attract the wrong kind of person? Do people take you seriously? Let's ask that question. When you are out and about and you look at the reaction that people are getting or giving you from the way that you look. What are they thinking? What are they saying? And when you think about that reaction, is that reaction a reaction that is going to allow people to really want to do business with you? Because, see, you're a business owner now. And as a business owner, you want to be able to attract the client that you are looking for. But you don't want to attract every client, and you definitely don't want to attract the wrong client. And you don't want to attract the wrong group of people that will come in to work in your company. It could be a volunteer, it could be an intern, it could be an independent contractor, or an actual employee. So when you presented yourself for your company, what did you look like? What was the occasion? What were you wearing when you first met that employee? What were you wearing when you first met that independent contractor or the intern or the volunteer? Why did they want to sign up with you? Was it because that something about you was too revealing, or was it something about you that was professional and appropriate and you felt comfortable in your own skin? Now, I know that some of us, we like to wear the tight things. We like to wear the short things. We like to wear the things that are going to show off our physiques. We like to wear the things that people can see us physically, that we've been working out and doing our thing, right? But I want you to really begin to consider, is that the impression, the reaction that you really want people to see? Is that really what you want people to think about you? When you look at Michelle Green, for example, and I'm in finance, this is a very intricately detailed part of people's lives. So, would you want a sexy financial advisor, or would you want a average, decent professional type financial advisor? Most people are going to choose the latter because that's who they would trust over someone that's presenting themselves as sexy. Okay? If it's somebody who is showing some legs, it's somebody that is showing some booty, if somebody that's showing some boobs, if I was somebody that was doing all of that, then the people would be distracted from what I'm actually saying to them to help them. So you cannot push your product. You cannot move your product or your service. Let me say that, not push it, okay? Because we might be talking or thinking about some other kind of business, and I ain't trying to talk about that kind of business. I'm talking about a real legitimate business, okay? Something that's legal. All right. Anywho, so when I say that we are considering that in your particular industry, the way that you look, the way that you present yourself, when you go out, and whether or not you're going out, but if you are online, if you are virtually having any type of coaching program, if you are virtually having a course set up for your clientele to come in and to see you online. If you are doing anything at all in business where your face and your body is seen, what is the reaction that you want people to have? See, there's a way to clean things up and there's a way to tear it on down. Okay. So I want you to really begin to think about what is your first impression. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to actually go and ask some of the people that you are usually around, what is their first impression of your style? Of your style. Let them tell you exactly what it is that they see about you when they think about your business. And you will be surprised. I'm trying to tell you, you will be surprised. I remember back in the day when I first started out in business, I really wasn't concerned that much about my style. I really never was somebody that was totally consumed with my style, but I had to really begin to think about that later on in life. But what I wanted to say is that, like, when I first started out as a business owner, of course, I was 19 years old, so I wasn't really thinking that much about, I had clothes, so I was trying to make ends meet. I was trying to get this hustle on and trying to, just survive. And having that additional business on the side, in addition to a job, really did help me to move forward pretty quickly. But what I didn't concern myself with was what I look like, until I had to concern myself with what I looked like. So initially, I started out just thinking about, okay, I got to make some money. I got to survive. I got to make this hustle. And that was the mindset that I had, but I don't have a hustle mindset anymore because the hustle mindset don't get you but so far. Okay, that's a temporary fix. You want a permanent fix. You want a wealth mindset and you want longevity. So when you think about your business, you want to consider what I just said, longevity. What is the longevity of your business attire? What is it going to say 10, 20, 30 years down the road? What is it going to say later on as you become older in your business? As your business becomes older, what are people going to remember about your company, and will they still buy into your product or your service? See, we don't really begin to think about all of that, just like I didn't think about all of that when I was 19 years old. I was just thinking, like, hey, Michelle, you better make some money, girl. You got things to do. You got people to see. You got places to go. You got a whole lot that's coming up in your life, and you got big dreams, you got big goals. So how are you going to reach those goals and dreams if you're not professional? See, I had to think about, okay, I'm doing this right now. And I know that, like I said, a lot of us, when we first start out, we don't really be concerned that much about our style. We don't really be concerned about if we got on a short skirt, if we got on a shirt that is showing cleavage, or if we are wearing, for guys, a muscle shirt, if we got pants that are coming up the crack of our behinds. We don't really be that conscious about if the sleeves on our arms are bulging and about to bust open like Incredible Hulk. Okay, we don't really think about those kind of things until after the fact. And that's why I'm having this talk with you right now, so that you will understand, like, your style matters. Is it too sexy? Are you doing too much? Are you wearing the gloss so every time that somebody looks at you and they're listening to, whether you're virtual or you're in person, ladies, if the gloss is shining so much, if it's so beautiful, if it's so glossy that the only thing that they're doing when they look at you is just watching your lips. Okay? Are they looking at you so hard that they cannot pay attention in any other conversation that you are having, and they just over here saying, uh-huh, 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 and they're not really engaging in what you are talking about? These are the signs that we got to stop and think about. We really got to stop and change the way that we look at our brand in business. Our brand name. What do we want people to say about us if we are a household name? Do we want people to say, oh, that girl is fine? Oh my God, that CEO is fine as wine. You know, I'm going to see if I can go get them digits. Or do you want them to be like, oh my God, that fella is something else. Oh my goodness, he is so fine. He is so handsome. Oh my goodness, I wish I could just divorce my husband and go with him. No, we can't be going there. That is not business, y'all. That's not professional business. We cannot have those kind of ideas in our head, even if you're single. Even if you are not with anybody. You're not in a relationship. You're not in a situationship or anything, but you are a person. It's okay that you like to look nice, but what is too much? Where does the boundary? Where is it drawn in the sand? Where is the line where it stops? Okay. What is too much? Too much is when your client feels uncomfortable. Too much is when your client is constantly talking about, my goodness, this, that, about how you look. It's too much when people are constantly focused on the way that you look instead of your actual product or service that you offer. See, this is why this conversation is so important. So let's get into some other details. So when we think about the level of respect that we have for ourselves, when we dress too sexy, we are actually telling people that we don't really respect ourselves even that much. We are telling the world that even though I want you to buy my product, I don't really have enough respect for myself to consider that this may be offensive to someone. I know I was at a place where there was a business event going on, and I saw someone that was inappropriately dressed that was sitting beside someone who was married. And even though it could have been an innocent situation, if I didn't know the two people who were sitting beside each other, I could make some assumptions about what's going on in people's life. And listen, guys, as business owners, we know that people like to talk. So we need to be mindful to respect ourselves and to respect other people because we don't know the look. Someone could have snapped a picture, and actually, someone did snap a picture at the event that I was at where I saw someone who was really sexy dressed beside a married person who was just dressed regularly. And it just seemed like in the picture that something inappropriate was going on. But the truth of the matter is, it was just an innocent picture because I know the two people. It was just an innocent picture. But the problem is that it was disrespectful. So are you being disrespectful and don't even know it? Do you lean down? Do you lean over? Do you sit beside? Do you go and hug with all of the lovingness that you have in your heart, not realizing that people who are already engaged, that are married or in a relationship, even if it's a situationship, that you may be inappropriately showing your body off to them in a way that is disrespectful. So I want you to really dive into this thought process. Like this is something that Michelle Green had to think about now. And whenever we are looking at, I know many of us, we don't really care about what other people think, but what will matter to you is when your client begins to fall off the books, when your client decides that they don't want to do business with you anymore because of something that they assume that you may have inappropriately done with their partner, their spouse, with their significant other, or whatever the case may be. Anybody can pick up wrong information just from a look. Because what do they say? A picture is worth 1,000 words. And those 1,000 words usually are not positive words, y'all. So even though you want to look good, even though you want to present yourself as I am cute, you might even be proud of yourself because you done lost some weight, or maybe you gained some weight, depending on which side of the scale you want to be on. You know, maybe you lost some weight or you gained some weight, and you decided that, hey, you're gonna put on that outfit that you've been dying to get into, and you're gonna wear that thing and you're gonna look right. Okay, you're gonna be fine as wine. You're gonna be on time. I'm trying to tell you, you're going to be right. You're going to be styling. You're going to be sharp, as they used to say back in the day. But regardless of what you are feeling about yourself, I want you to just really stop and begin to think about, is it respectful? The way that you conduct yourself, do you hug people in business? Do you hug them with a space in between you and the person where you're like leaning over? Or do you hug them with all of your might, with all of your body? Okay. Do you engage in conversations if you're sitting beside someone where you're leaning into their face, you're leaning into their body? Or do you have space? Is there a space limitation? Is there a boundary or a line, invisible line that you have established in between you and the party that you are talking to? See, even though we are people who like to look nice, we like to look good, we still have to understand that there are boundaries that other people have that we don't necessarily have. And I had to learn this the hard way. When I first started in business as a financial advisor, I had a manager who was married that was training me, and I was a 19-year-old single woman with no kids, and doing my thing. So I didn't really think that much of it. But someone had to pull me to the side and tell me, hey, Michelle, look how this looks. Every time I had to be trained, every time I had to go to school, take a test, whatever I had to do, whenever I was around this manager, his wife felt uncomfortable. So it may be disrespectful the way that you are dressing, because maybe even if it's not that your dress or your attire is wrong, it could be that you just are usually just a sexy person and you don't even know your sexiness, and you are presenting yourself in that scenario inappropriately. Like I said, maybe you're leaning in too much. Maybe you're getting too close to them when you sit beside them. Maybe you're standing beside them, giving them hugs and even kissing them on the cheek or something. What is too far? We are not in personal relationships as business owners. And if we are in a personal relationship with someone that is in business with us, then we need to make that known publicly as well as personally. And that needs to be well understood, that I'm in a relationship with the person that I'm also in business with, not to just be in business with someone that you really knocking boots back in the, you over there in the corner going to the hotel here and there, and people are making assumptions about you. Let's be clear about things. Let's let people know if we are in a relationship. And if you're not in a relationship and you know that other person is in a relationship, then you need to set some boundaries of how far you're going to go. Listen, it's okay. I know there has been times, especially in my life, where I thought someone was cute. Or I was like, ooh, okay, all right, you got it going on, bro. But this was before I was married. And it was also at a time when I didn't have any kids, being in business, and even after I had kids, still the scenarios are going to arise. So, what I'm saying to you is, regardless of where you are on the chart of being in a relationship or not being in a relationship, or whatever age you are, whatever your body looks like, you have to be body conscious when it comes to your sexiness. And like I said, there are just some of us out there that are just automatically sexy. We were born with the sex appeal. But that does not mean that it's okay for us to do this, or even if we're not conscious about it, to act a certain way in public around other people, especially our clients, our staff, or anyone that we are associating or collaborating with in business. We cannot be unconscious of what we are doing. We got to understand that it's not always appropriate to touch people. It's not always appropriate to give a hug. It's definitely not all right to give a kiss, even if you think it's innocent. I don't care if you are the most loving, kind person on the face of this earth. It's just not always appropriate. And you need to be conscious of what you're doing when you are around certain people. You need to know what their status is. And you need to know if you do like them, if you're trying to flirt intentionally, you need to know what their status is in their relationship. Are they in a relationship? Do you know whether or not you are disrespecting their space? Do you know whether or not you are disrespecting their eyes? Or do you know whether or not you are disrespecting their ears by the things that you say and the way that you say it? So I challenge you. I challenge you tonight to think about what is it that you are doing that possibly could be sabotaging your business as it relates to your sexiness of your style. What is your style? What is the way that you talk? What is the way that you walk? What is the way that you dress? How do you wear your hair? What is the way that your face looks like? Is it too much? And do you need to just tone it down a little bit? Do you need to change it up a little bit? Do you need to dress a little bit more, enclosed? Or do you need to, loosen up a little bit? Some of us are also on the opposite end of the stick. Some of us don't have any sexiness at all. We just absolutely professional. Listen, I'm not telling you to be sexy, but what I am telling you is that you could stand a chance to just lighten up the load a little bit. Go get yourself a makeover. Go change up your clothes. Go change up the way that you do things so that maybe you are a little bit more inviting, because that could also sabotage your business. Okay? It could sabotage your business if you're being too uptight. It could sabotage your business if you're just not relatable. If you are just somebody that's always business, 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 then that could also be the opposite end of the stick of someone who people don't want to be around. People want to be around people that are beautiful, lovely, but they don't want it to be too much. They don't want it to be overstepping of boundaries, especially if they're in a relationship, especially if you have too much going on. If you're single, be respectful of the people that are in a relationship. If you are single with kids or without kids, it don't matter. Listen, let's just think about, you could be really sabotaging an opportunity for you to really take your business to a whole new level, to a whole new tier. Why? Because you don't know what's on the inside of that individual. Did you know that every person has about 1,000 people that they could actually refer to you overall? If you look at every person in their family, every friendship that they have had, all the people that they have worked with, the people that they go to church with, if they go to church, are spiritually connected to, you look at every person as 1,000 people, and you are telling me that you would want to risk the opportunity for you to be able to gain new clientele? Don't you need those 1,000 people that one person has? So I'm telling you, it is worth you taking the consideration to change your sexy style. Even if you are not a sexy person, even if you are not thinking that, hey, this ain't too much, go ask somebody. Go ask the people that normally see how you dress as a business owner. and ask them, what do they think about your style? Don't even tell them that you watched this video. Just go and ask them the question. What do you think about my style as a business owner? What do you think about the way that I dress, my makeup, my hair, my facial hairs if you're a male? Whatever the case is, ask them about your mannerisms. Ask them about your style, of how you talk, of how you look at people. Your facial expressions also can be something that is disrespectful. If you're looking at somebody up and down like, and you drooling, let me tell you, put your drool back in your mouth. Put your drool back in your mouth and realize that, hey, that's not something I need to be doing as a business owner. So you got to learn how to, as a business owner, have self control. That's what tonight is all about, y'all. We got to understand how to present ourselves as business owners. How would you present yourself if there was $1 million grantor right now standing in front of your face? How would you present yourself? And however that answer is how you want to always present yourself. You don't want to just present yourself because somebody going to give you a lot of money. You want to present yourself well, regardless of the situation or the scenario or who the person is. Respect all people and you will be respected. If you have the level of respect for yourself, then you will have the level of respect for other people. And you will be conscious of your mannerisms, of the way that you talk to people. If it's something that you're saying that you just know you don't cross the border, you have crossed the border. You have gone beyond the boundary because now you're having conversations that are inappropriate, maybe about sex, maybe about the relationship that you're in. And it could be that it's okay, but you never know in the back of your mind what somebody else is thinking about you and the way that you look. And you might be inviting them in to check you out, and you may not even want that to happen. But just check your language. Think about the things that you talk about to other people and whether or not it's too much or whether it's too sexy or whether it's not enough sexy or whether it's just not supposed to be sexy, period, at all. It's okay to look good. It's okay to be fine. It's okay to be beautiful. It's okay that you look your best, but just make sure that it's appropriate, okay? We don't want anybody to sabotage their success as a business owner, including myself. And I've been through quite a few things in business all of these years, almost 35 years of being a business owner. I know a little something. So that's why I'm here tonight to share these entrepreneurial tips with you so that you can live a better entrepreneurship life. That's right. We are here to help you every single Wednesday from 9:30 until we get done. And make sure that you are subscribed to the channel so that you never ever miss an episode because you never know what we're going to talk about. If you learn something interesting tonight about your style and being sexy, I want you to put the comment below of what you learned. I want you to go ahead and share this video with a friend that you know is an entrepreneur and maybe someone that you know has a little bit too much sexy, okay, going on. And let them know, you ain't even got to tell them what you're sharing exactly, but let them know after they have watched the video what your perspective of their sexy is, okay? Or vice versa. Let somebody else tell you about your sexy. But make sure that you are conscious and aware that your sexy could be too much, too little, none at all. And it could just be disrespectful and inappropriate. And we want to win in business at all costs. So I hope that this has helped you tonight. I hope that you take away from this some absolute nuggets, some tips, some things that you can use later on in your life. We hope that you are already connected to KBBU because we are here for every elite entrepreneur, no matter where you are in the world. Don't you know that you can get into our classroom? You can get into the associate certification, the bachelor certification, or the VIP master certification. Right now, we have open enrollment So make sure that you go to the website, www.kbbulllc.com. You see that right down below, or give us a call at 855-KBBU-LLC, which is 855-522-8552. Give us a call. Talk to us about the things that you are dealing with as a business owner. That's why we are here. We are your business university, and we are everywhere, all throughout the United States and international. We can help you no matter where you are, and we can get you in those classes. And let me tell you, we can have a ball together, because I'm trying to tell you, these classes are on fire. Starting next week, November the 4th, we are starting our new associates classes. They will be bi-weekly, so you definitely want to get in where you fit in. Then we have on Wednesdays at 8 to 9, we're going to be having our bachelor's certification class. So make sure you get in on that. If you are trying to do business, if you don't even know what you want to do yet, you can get in on either one of the associates or bachelor's certification classes. And if you are already a KBBU alumni, I don't even have to tell you, you already know you need to be in that VIP Masters class. And that VIP Masters class is going to help take your business from one level to levels way above where you are currently. So you don't want to waste any time. Make sure you go ahead and hit that number right there, 855-522-8552, and hit that website, www.kbbullc.com, right now, so that you can get into one of those classes before class starts next week. That's right. November is the month of all the classes starting up, and you can get in wherever you can. Listen, right at kbbullc.com. Thank you so much again for watching. Tell me about all about what you've learned. And until next Wednesday at 9:30 p.m., we will see you later, alligator. Bye-bye. Take care, everybody. See you soon.